as well. Sunny Portugal, same here.
Awesome.
Chile.
And while everyone is letting us know where you're watching us from, just to give you some short introductions, my name is Stacy. I'm a senior customer success specialist here at Pipedrive on the Scale team, and I'm here with my wonderful colleague.
I'm Bruna and the webinar specialist here in Pipedrive. Welcome, everyone.
Wonderful. And just to let you know about this tool that we'll be using to connect with you today, you all are letting us know where you're located in the chat. And we also have a great section to ask questions over in the questions tab below. That's an important area to ask any questions you would like for us to answer later. If the question's already there, it's great to upvote so your question can rise to the top and we can see who has the same question. Also, in addition to that, if you need captions, there is a caption option available just so you can see exactly what we're saying when we're saying it.
Mm, So we have two questions actually. I can take this. I know we have also someone from the support team who's also answering the questions you might have, Angela. And I see she was answering, but don't worry, I can take this. The webinar is being recorded, okay, from the very beginning until the end, and it will be sent to your email as soon as a few minutes after it ends. Okay, it will always go to the email that you used to register. So be careful of that. So Cheryl and Mario. Yes, it was recorded and shared if you need to go because it's late in your time zone. Don't worry, you can go have a good rest. And thank you for joining either way, even if it was late. Thank you.
So we'll get right into it just so we don't waste any time. So today we're going to wrap up the year of 2025 and give you some tips to identify anything that you might want to review from this year and get ready to set your goals for 2026. Today, we're going to talk about aligning your activities with KPIs, setting your goals that drive performance, spotting bottlenecks with deal duration, eliminating pipeline clutter, and lastly, we'll wrap up with answering some of your questions that you can add to the question tab at the bottom there.
Yes.
Just to give
So
you some great info about Pipedrive was founded in 2010 by a group of great Estonians, five to be exact, who were salespeople who wanted more of a CRM tool that the market could offer. So they created their own. Just so you're aware, Pipedrive reached unicorn status in 2020. And now we have almost 800 employees across the globe in 10 different offices, specifically 8 countries representing over 50 nationalities. Most importantly, we support 109,000 small businesses daily to reach their business goals with our easy and effective CRM solution that you'll see more of today.
So now I'm gonna go ahead and take the stage here a little bit. I'm gonna present the first two topics, and I want to start by asking you a question. We have a poll here. So, do you have KPIs set for your company? So, do you use KPIs? We have three options here. If you use it, if not, what is a KPI even? So, feel free to answer the poll there, just so we can have an idea since it's gonna be the first topic we are talking about. So I see a lot of people has already KPI set, some don't. There's also people who don't know what's a KPI, and that's completely okay. So let's give a little bit more just to see a lot of answers. Mainly everyone has a KPIs, but there's still a lot of people who don't, and that's okay. Perfect. So that sets the tone for the the presentation. So now let's start. And as I said, I'm Bruna, I'm the webinar specialist, and we're going to start by talking about aligning activities with your KPIs. Just a quick side note two side notes actually. I'm a little bit sick, so if I turn off my camera, it's just because I'm trying not to die while coughing or something like that. So don't find it weird, okay? And also, I'm gonna start by presenting some slides, and then I will do a live presentation on my PyDrive account. I may be looking on my side because I have two screens, okay? So just don't find it weird, okay? So now let's talk about aligning activities with your KPIs. And of course, what are KPIs? The KPIs, more known by key performance indicators, are measures that teams use to track progress towards their objectives and goals that they have for their business. Basically, they assess your strategy if it's working or not, and also they reveal which activities they drive outcomes. And in Pipedrive, there's multiple ways that you can track your KPIs through activities, goals, or insights. Now, on the next slide, right here, in Pipedrive, you can track your KPIs with activities and basically why activities drive KPI success. So they power the sales pipeline, they align actions to KPI improves efficiency, they help focus on revenue driving actions and supports performance versus expectation analysis. So if you load this information to Pipedrive, it will be easy for you to track on the long run. Now, as I was saying, common KPI metrics in pie charts regarding activities. The most common are activities created or marked as done per team. You can also see this per user, per type, and also you can track the number of emails sent or replied to. So these are the main KPI metrics when it comes to activities. Now, how do you track your KPI metrics in Pipedrive? The first thing when it comes to activities is for you to set your activity types. This is important. Pipedrive already comes with some default activity types, but of course you can add your own that make more sense for your business. Then, of course, you and your team, the sales rep, they need to create your activities, mark them as done, of course, and then you can create reports inside the insights. You can also create dashboards with those reports that you create. And of course, you can create some goals. Now, before we go to the goals, I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing just so we can see how we can create these activity types, how we can create the activities, and how we can see them inside the reports. Now, I believe you're all seeing. To do this, to change your activity types and create them, you need to go here on the top right and then company settings. One important thing, to create activity types, you need to be an admin user. Okay, so if you don't see this part here, company settings, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with your account, just missing the permissions. But if you are an admin user and you want to create, you just go here on activities. Okay, company settings and activities. And then you have two things here. Basically, if you want to show a schedule and activity pop-up after you mark it as done, you can select it if yes or not, always or such in specific pipelines. You can also select if you want a certain activity to appear after a deal marked as done. These two are really a matter of preference and your business. And then if you scroll, we get here. So this is where you can create your activity types. By default, you already have call, meeting, task, deadline, email, or Zoom meeting. But as you see, and I scroll, me and Stace, we do have a lot of activity types. So to add them, you click in here, plus activity type. You select the icon, and I think this is a great touch here, and then you give it a name. For example, if I come here and add, let's say, webinar, like this, I can save it. It will be on the end of the list, and you can just drag it to the top. So you just go like this, and you can drag it to the top right here. Okay, so remember, when you start using a Pipedrive, create your activity types according to your KPIs. Then you've been using your Pipedrive, you've been creating your activities, and then you need some reports. So you can go here on the Insights feature, and this is a dashboard. I will get to there, but you can create new reports by going here, create report, and then you have activity reports. Of course, you have activities performance or email performance. And if you click right there, by default, you'll have this, so activities at a time this month, You can always change these type of filters or delete the filters as well. And I will show you other type of reports here. And if you scroll down, of course, you can change how you measure this. If you want by duration or number of activities, you can change how you segment this. And as you see, you can choose by team, subject, overdue, by creator, the contact person also assigned to user. So you can see, in this case, all the activities are assigned to me. And you can also view by status right there. Of course, once you are creating a report, the columns that you have here, and if you click in there, you'll have information related to what's inside the column in specific, okay? And of course, you have subject, type, and so on. You can always come here to the cogwheel, and you can add or remove columns. To export the results of your reports, because sometimes a lot of people like to do this, you can export by column by just clicking in here, and then top right, you can export Excel or CSV, or you can export the result of the whole report if you scroll down and you access right there. Now, when it comes to organizing this, and as you see, I do have already some reports created. So for example, we have here activities done by type and by rep. In this case, if you scroll down, I can see here the users on my Pipedrive account. So me, Miguel, and Stacy. And I also added marked as done as last year because I have more data from last year. So if you scroll, I can see types of activities that were created and also who created, and you can even see the type of activity by number. So in this case, Bruna created 38 calls, 31 tasks, 4 Zoom meetings, and same for Miguel and Stacy. And of course, you can create activities done or, oops, sorry, or created like here. So it's different filters, okay? So if you want different information in each report, you need to give different, create different reports, okay? And of course, you also have the emails report right here. When it comes to emails report, you always need to have this filter here. Okay, it's locked, you cannot change it. The only thing you can do is, of course, choose if you want another specific date. Okay, and as you see in this case, it will show me all the reports that were sent or received last year by Bruna, Miguel, Stacy, and Andrea. As you see, I have all this information. When you are creating the reports here, you can also add them to dashboards right there. So if you click in here, if you don't have a dashboard created, you can always add a new one or add them to one you've already created. Important note, because I was checking here the message on the chats, these emails here, when it comes to emails reports, they only count if the emails are sent from within Pipedrive. Okay, so you need to have your email sync, Outlook, Exchange, or Gmail, but all the emails need to be sent from within Pipedrive. Okay, otherwise the reports will not work. Now, when it comes to the dashboards, and I think this is great because you can create your reports, you can add them here, and as you see, you will have information about all the reports you have created right there. And when it comes to the dashboards here, you can search by specific user. For example, in this case, I'm seeing the data for everyone. But if I click on it in Bruna, it will only show me the data related to me in each report. So right there. And on the three dots, you can share this with users from Pipedrive. You can also share this as a public link. You can export in PDF or PNG, duplicate or delete. You can also move around like this. So I think this is great. You create the KPI activities here, you keep them in track. End of the year, you can do this quarterly, monthly, or of course, yearly. And then you can just keep track of everything right in there. Okay, so this is when it comes to activity KPIs. Now, the next topic that we'll be talking about right in there, right, which is the set goals that drive performance. So the goals are also related to the insights. Okay? And basically, the goals are outcomes a sales team or team, working team, organization aims to achieve within a set time frame. Just like KPIs, proper goal setup will let you analyze your team's performance versus previous expectations and planning. Of course, on the first year you do this, you might aim a little bit higher. You might not reach the goals, and that is good. This is good to have this information so you can adapt to the next year. Sorry, my foot here. Sorry. In this case, for goals, you can track the progress on your deals, activities, and revenue forecasts. And how do you track this? Basically, you can create goals, three types of goals in Pipedrive: deal goals, activity goals, and forecasts. And when it comes to the deal goals, it will always be related to added, progressed, or won. So it will track the number of value of new deals added in your account or entering a specific pipeline stage, and also the ones that you mark this one. When it comes to activities, it will be added or completed. And then we have, of course, the forecast goals. These are the fields that will be used in all the goals, doesn't matter the item. So you have, of course, assignee, so the goal specific to user, team, or entire company. Okay. The pipeline, you can select the pipeline, a specific one or all the pipelines. The frequency, so if you want it weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly, and the duration as well. And then you have fields using specific goal types. For example, for deal goals, you have tracking metric, count, and value, and activity, you have activity goals right here. Okay, so now let's go here to back to my pipeline and learn a little bit more about it. To create the goals, just like the reports, you just go here on the top right and you go on goal. And as you see, deal, activity, and forecasts. And let's say I want to create a goal for the one deals. So you click in here and you can select the assignee. So user, team, and whole company. Keep in mind, when you select team and company, you cannot select a specific user. Okay, so the goal will show everyone. If you want to select a specific user, you come here and you select the user right there. And let's say the whole company. You can select all the pipelines or a specific pipeline. You can select the frequency of these goals. So if you want to see it monthly or quarterly or yearly, let's say monthly, set the duration. And I'm going to say I want January until the end of the year. And then you can track by value. So if you want the team to reach a specific value by month in this case, or if you want, of course, by count. So what doesn't matter, it doesn't matter really the value, it matters the count you can select right here. And then you can select the value there. Imagine counts. They need to sell, they need to win, let's say, 20 deals a month. And you can select if this will be for January until December, or you can specify individual period goals. So imagine in January, it's like, let's say it's a more typical month, let's say 5. February, you can add 10. You can select this information right there. But let's say I want to apply this to all the months, so 20. And once you save it, you will see here the goal. So in this case, our team didn't meet any month goals, so we need to do better next year. But as you see, you will have the goal right here. You will see how many deals were won or activities created, and you'll also have the difference. And if you click, of course, you'll have the information regarding the specific months. Okay, so you have everything right there, and you can export as well. Goals. As you see here, they're a little not limited, but there you cannot apply a lot of filters. Okay, this is just for goals. And as I said, if you apply it to everyone, you cannot search by a specific user. And of course, you can add this to a dashboard. In my case, I created a dashboard just for goals. For example, I had a dashboard just for me. So deal added during this time. And as you see, I didn't meet any goals. Activities also completed. So you can create the goals for your KPIs, deals, leads, or forecast, and then you can have them right in there. They are updated every time you access this page. So again, you and your team can always be on track of your goals and if you are meeting your KPIs. So with this being said, I'm gonna pass the mic to Stacy. So we're to go to the next topics.
Wonderful. I think it's a great time to ask our second poll. So, when was the last time you modified your pipelines? This month, this year, last year, earlier, or never? Let's see. Okay. We have some folks realigning their goals for the upcoming new year. A lot of folks have selected this month. Good, good to hear. For those individuals and companies that have never, I hope you can maybe consider making some modifications, especially after this webinar. So now we'll talk a little bit about spotting bottlenecks with your deal duration. So one prime example that often gets overlooked in Pipedrive would be the deal duration report, which I'll show you a live example after we get through this portion. But the deal duration report will show you overall with your pipeline, the average time period, as in days, that your deal is going through your pipeline, but specifically highlighting how long an average of days your deal spends in each stage. It's important to note the number of days for each stage, just because you can apply this to a feature that is in the back end of your pipeline, the rotten feature. This feature allows you to add uh, a certain number as far as days, whereas once a deal has remained idle for that period of time, without any action, interaction, or engagement, that deal will turn red. Now, this might seem like a small feature, but it's very helpful in consideration to your visibility when it comes to your pipeline. Just by these two brief screenshots, you can see at least a visibility with some of your deals, maybe more than half have the possibility of falling through the cracks, which is something that we want to not happen. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you some of these examples. All right. So, navigating from our pipeline over to the insights reporting tool that Bruno was highlighting just a few moments ago, we can look into our deal duration report by going to report, deal, and then duration. So from here, I recommend checking out your most used pipeline and identifying the average time cycle. If you haven't already, this could be helpful just with making some modifications to your workflow for next year. So we noticed that deals are remaining in these two pipelines for a period of time. So we might want to apply the number here that we're seeing to the back end of our pipeline. So navigating back over to our pipeline, if we go to edit the pipeline, we'll see that the rotten feature is available for us to turn on for all of our stages, or maybe for the most important ones. And then we can see a clear difference as far as some of the deals that have been rotting for a period of time. And you can also note that this feature is available when you're looking at the deal individually. Going back to our pipeline, it might be helpful to continue to be able to use this filter from here on out by creating a special filter to be able to see all of the deals that have fallen into this category. If you want, you can go ahead and take screenshots so you can apply it into your account. But once the filter has been applied, my view is filtered to only see those particular deals. and I could direct attention to them in some type of way, but also be able to use this filter that we just created in our automations feature. So within my automation setup, I have a particular automation that identifies whenever a deal is updated or lack thereof in this instance, they will fall into this particular category that allows these deals to meet this match this filter. Upon that, I could identify an action that I would like to take, whether it be creating an activity, but in this scenario, I will be or having the system send an email to the person that created the deal, as well as whomever owns the deal, to remind them that you might want to engage with this deal because it's now rotten. If you wanted to, you can continue to add actions here, maybe adding an additional activity or a note that you would like to take place. So from here, we could talk a little bit more about um, eliminating pipeline clutter. Just to highlight a few different updates that you might not have noticed, with your pipeline, it's always suggested that you have a good amount of stages, but not too many because it will alter your view. Whereas now, you can actually make it so that all of your stages, no matter the number of stages, can be visible in your view here in Pipedrive. In addition to that, it's a friendly reminder, just like our poll question, if you haven't already, make modifications to your stages. Anytime you create a new pipeline within Pipedrive, you'll see a default list of stages. But it's important to really align with what you and your team or your company is doing with your sales workflow or even post-sales workflow. Go ahead and make edits to those stage names to truly represent exactly what's going on in that stage. And then we'll talk a little bit about loss reasons. But to show you live examples of this, I'll go ahead and share my screen again. And then we'll navigate over to our pipeline. And while we're looking at my pipeline here, we're going to go to alter the layout. Now it's totally up to you, and this is based on user preference. So you can be looking at your pipeline one way while your counterpart or colleague is looking at it another way. So for one, if you wanted to reduce your view here for your stages, you could scroll through, especially in the situation where you might have a high number of stages. Totally up to you. Or you can fit your view to the screen. That way, you're not having to slide all the way to the right to see anything in your last stage or your first stages. Alongside that, you have to uh, open up a deal in a side panel view or in a full screen view. That option identifies if you want to open a new tab to see a deal that you might be looking into further. Going into your stage setup here, you can reorder some of these stages if need be, or based on maybe adding some additional stages, you could do so as well. Or you could even delete some stages that might not be necessary anymore. Understanding that if you happen to delete a stage with deals in it, you have the opportunity to direct exactly where those deals might fall into. Maybe you want to delete them. But if for keeping and preserving historical data, it might be important just to move them into another stage. Last not least, we'll talk a little bit about your loss reasons. So for admin users that have access to this, um, or even making the suggestion, collaborating with one of your admin users, navigating over to company settings and then lost reasons will give you a space to add reasons for why a deal might have been lost. If you haven't identified this already, it's great to review your lost cases, your lost deals, to identify the reason of why that opportunity might have been lost. This gives you the option to reorder these, add some additional ones, or if you want to give your team the opportunity to continue to add to this list, you can allow for free form submission. Just to show you how this looks, we'll navigate back over to our pipeline. We'll select a deal that we might want to lose, like this pretty old deal, and we will lose a deal and see a pop of reasons that we can select here. All right. So that was the end of my portion. Now we get into the most fun part, our Q&A portion. If you haven't already, please be sure to ask any questions that you might have had during this call, during this webinar.
Yes, and I see Angela
Let's see.
already answered a lot of questions.
All right.
Uh, Someone is asking me if Pipedrive holds events in Brazil. We don't have events per se. Pipedrive is live in Brazil. We have other users. We don't have an office there either, so it is not possible. But William, reach out to our CEO, ask, and I can go. It's okay. I'm dying to go to Brazil, so let's see here. Mm. If you have questions related to the topics, please use the questions tab. Okay, as you see, the chat tab is run down, so we might miss questions. And Jacqueline, yes, as Dina mentioned, everyone will get the recording a few minutes after the webinar ends. Okay, so don't worry. You can just rewatch the recording and then do the steps at your own pace on your own account when you want. Mm.
So here's a good question. Steve asked, seems trivial, but under organizations and contacts, how can I get a customer zip codes to display? So I'll share my screen real quick and show you an example. So it's important to identify that the address field is directly integrated with Google Maps. So it's important to enter in an address as accurate as possible, just because in the back end, the field will allow you to break it down into segments. So if you were to add a column, you should see a field option for the zip code that you have for the organization. Now I'll just disable some of these to bring that field to the forefront. Okay, I think that might have been the wrong one. They should show up in your zip code field here.
We also have a question here. Right. So, let me just bring it to the. How do I delete products in Pipedrive? The only option I can see is to bulk edit. So Nicole, in this case, on my account, I was testing it out. So when you access the product, the product tab right here on the left, in this case, I only have three products. But like if you click in one of them, you'll be able to delete it right here. You don't need to delete it. If you want to delete all of them, you click in here. But for one of them, you can just do it like this. So this is the expected behavior right there. Okay. Of course, you can delete all of them, but you can just delete one. Mm, I'm having a lot of questions, kind of hard to keep track.
All right, here's another question. For the rotten deals, can I send people automatic emails to remind them about it? Yes. So just so you can see this example again, I'll share my screen of the automation that I created that will send an email to a deal owner or deal creator when the deal has been rotten. So if we navigate back over to automations, we'll pause here to give the opportunity to screenshot it. So when the deal falls into the rotten category, this allows you to send an email. Also, you can add in a delay as well here if need be, maybe a delay for an hour.
So I'm just trying to see something here. My account's look really buggy here. Um, Again, if you have questions, please use the questions tab. Okay, I see there's a lot of questions on the chat tab, and it's kind of hard to keep track. Okay, so please use the questions tab. Okay. Um,
Let's see. Alyssa asks, I want to test out features like automated campaigns, but want to make sure all the pieces are set up correctly before I go live. Is there a way to test out without turning the feature on? So for this example, I would refer to this particular section in your campaigns feature that allows you to test out a draft before the email is sent. So at the bottom here, you'll be able to test out the draft of the email. But also when you're setting up the particular and designing, this will show you in full view how it would look on a desktop, but also how it would look on a mobile phone. So you're able to designate which one. Okay.
there's a question here. Where is I was able to create a filter of deals won last month, but then it won't be shown on the reports section. Is there a filter available in reports? So when it comes to reports, and I'm going to share my page here. Second. Okay, so you can do this, for example, by month. So instead of being only like last month, you can just come here. In this case, it is October, and you have this by monthly right here. Okay, so it's not specific by last month because if I put last month, it will still give me like only this information. Okay, so you can always have this, by for example, this year and have them like this. Okay, of course, you can apply the filters that you need. In this case, I have the ones that I created this year, and then one of these. If I delete the ones created this year, I'll have deals in 2023. So they were created there, and then we won this year. Okay, so maybe that would be um, a way to do it. Remember, filters on the pipeline and filters on the reports, they are not the same thing. So keep that in mind. Also, you might
And
see on the, yeah, I
go
was talking
ahead.
about feedback. So we always appreciate any type of feedback you have. Okay, we only have like 5 minutes to end the webinar. So you can see on the bottom right, Dina, our colleague, just shared the feedback there. You can open, you don't need to do it right now, you can do it later. But feel free, okay, to give us any type of feedback you might have. Okay, so we always appreciate it. Will be appearing in a few more times, so you just don't forget. But you'll also have, remember, the recording sent to your email and also the feedback there. Mm, and when it comes to, we have here, or about the unanswered questions, we do have questions here that are not unanswered. Also related to topics that we've not approached, so that's going to be fun to answer. We'll also share it after, okay? It's not going to be with a recording, it will be after a page with the answered questions, okay? So don't worry. Um, you will have the answers for the questions. Okay. And also, I always mention this on the webinars. Please use the knowledge base. Okay. I share a few links here already with some questions. If you have any issues with Pipedrive, if you want to learn about the specific feature, there's a knowledge base there. Okay. It is your Pipedrive best friend. So please check it out. Okay. Um, and let's see if there's any more. There's a time to answer one more question, maybe, or
Sure. And while
let's.
Bruna's identifying a good question to ask, don't be afraid, or if you haven't already, reach out to support. You might have some optimization opportunities to connect with a team member like myself on our in our customer success department to connect with you and dive deeper into answering your questions, as well as support is available as a resource in addition to that.
Exactly. Yes, you also have our support team. And Nicola is asking, how do I link my products to my goals? Right now, it's not possible to use the goals inside the goal. Sorry, it's not possible to use the products inside the goals. For now, we have goals related to a deal, activities, and forecast. But when it comes to deals being added, progressed, or won. Okay, so there is that. Mm.
Some good feedback though.
Yeah, I was checking the message. Thank you so much, Ella. Really appreciate it. Um, it's so nice. And there's a question here. How come I can see my one deals anymore in my pipeline? You see, might be by default, your pipeline will always show your open deals. Okay, so when you start using your pipe drive and when you access it, it will show always the open ones because, of course, you want to focus on the open opportunities you have. If you want to see the one deals, you need to apply a filter. Okay, so to apply the filter, and before we end, we only have 1 minute left, so really fast. So to apply the filter here, you go on the top right where you have your name, your owners, and then you have it's here. Okay, you have some default options, like for example, one deals, where of course you can just come here and add new filters. But by default, the pipe drive will always show you your open deals. Okay, and that sound we heard is the ending of the webinar. Um, Thank you so much, everyone who attended. Stay until the end for the questions and interacting here with us. We always appreciate it. Remember, you'll get the recording. The feedback is also welcome, and the questions as well. Thank you so much.
Feedback, feedback. Thank you. Thank you again for attending. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching us from. Really appreciate it.
Have a great rest of the week. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.